Reasons. It's reunion weekend. A lot of the old Braves are in town. Should be a lot of fun this weekend as the Braves open things up with the Detroit Tigers in the opener of a 3-game set. Good evening, everybody. This is Ernie Johnson. Another reason there's no place like home, well, you take a road trip to Chicago and you lose all 3 to the White Sox. But the Braves are home where they have the best record in baseball at 24-7 and have played the fewest home games with 31. And they've been productive here, 5.4 runs a game, and you see the other numbers. So they have been hot, and they're going to face some heat here in the opener and in the days to come. Joe Simpson.
Well, Ernie, if they're going to keep the best home record in baseball, it's going to be a real hard task for them, especially early on in this homestand, because there are some guys going to be pitching against the Braves that can bring some gas, beginning tonight with Andy Oliver making his Major League debut. He's a left-hander. He throws 97-plus, we are told. Max Scherzer goes tomorrow, 95-plus miles per hour with his fastball. Justin Verlander led the American League in strikeouts last year. He'll be somewhere between 95 and 98. And oh, by the way, even after the Tigers leave town, Steven Strasburg comes in Monday. He'll touch 100 miles an hour more than once when he pitches here Monday night. So if you're the Braves hitters, you got your work cut out for you the next 4 nights especially. Might want to find a light bat somewhere.
Exactly, and you talk about Strasburg hitting 92 with the changeup. That'll be a show on Monday, but first things first, Braves and Tigers. Chris Medlin gets the ball tonight in the opener. We'll be back with the first pitch right after this. Evening, and the humidity at 58%. And it's opener of a 3-game set. Glad you're with us. It's going to be a good crowd here as we begin Alumni weekend here at Turner Field. Let's take a look at the batting order, brought to you by Stone Mountain Park and Evergreen Marriott Resort. For great getaway packages, visit stonemountainpark.com. Here's the way Jim Leland's Tigers will come at the Braves tonight. Johnny Damon leads it off and plays center field. Ramon Santiago at short. Maglio Ordonez hitting .328, hits third. Great year for Miguel Cabrera, hitting .328 also. He's got 19 home runs and 61 runs batted in, which is tops in baseball. Brennan Bosch, a great-looking rookie, hits fifth. Then it's Carlos Guillen, Brandon Inge, Alex Avila, and Andy Oliver making his big league debut on the mound for Detroit.
And they'll be facing Chris Medlin, who makes his 9th start of the year for the Braves. His first 8, he's gone 3-0 as a starter, and a very good .367 ERA. And check out the walks, just 9 in 49 innings, 12 overall in 67 innings, counting his work out of the bullpen. His last start against Kansas City, no decision, 6 1/3 innings, again pitched into the 7th. Gave up 5 hits and 3 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 5. but he has won 4 straight decisions and earning his first 8 starts this year for Atlanta. The team is 7-1 in those starts. And the defense behind him tonight in the outfield, Infante again in left field, Cabrera in center, Jason Hayward in right. And around the horn, the usual suspects, Jones, Escobar, Prado, and Gloss. Brian McCann doing the catching against a Tigers team that's won 7 of their last 10, despite losing the series in New York against the Mets.
He will face Johnny Damon to start things off. Good start. Now, you mentioned the success he's had and the Braves have had when he's been on the mound, and in the month of June he started 4 times. He's 2-0, and you like the strikeout to walk ratio in this month. 17 strikeouts, only 3 walks in those 4 starts, and he's way ahead of Damon, 0-2.
Well, the great thing for right now facing these teams he's never faced before is they may have a great scouting report on him about his change-ups, but you don't know till you get in there just how good it is. Johnny Damon just found out.
Yep. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, 1 down.
Three straight change-ups. And again, it's not until you get in there and see it that you begin to figure out how to make adjustments against him. So especially the first time through the order, Chris will be at a big advantage.
Here's Ramon Santiago. A .260 hitter. Just upstairs, 2-0. This is got a couple of teams here who are going to be keeping their eye on what's going on in New York tonight, because while the Tigers are a half game out of the lead in the AL Central, the Braves lead the NL East by a half game over the Mets, and it's the Mets and the Twins playing tonight as Santiago lines a single into left.
Yeah, one of these two teams is going to gain some ground if there's room to be gained up there. Jim Leyland brings his ball club to town, 14-21 on the road, but like the Chicago White Sox in their own division, they're playing real well in interleague play. Tigers are 10-5 against the National League so far.
A soft toss over to first by Medlin. As Maglio Ordonez steps in, and you talk about a guy who loves interleague play. He's got some gaudy numbers. Pop on that fastball at 90 by Medlin. 337 all-time in interleague play, 44 doubles, 3 triples, 36 home runs, 148 RBIs in 179 games for Mags. Be careful.
Well, he looks a lot lighter this year, maybe because he got all his hair cut off. He used to wear the long locks, but not this year. Maybe he's just trying to change his luck. He hit for a high average last year, 310, but power numbers were down. Just 9 homers, 50 RBIs.
The 1-1.
Teed off yesterday against the Mets. As you know, it's not an easy place to hit a home run at Citi Field. That was his 10th of the year.
Tigers got out of there with a win in the finale of that set. Three balls and 1 strike. Tigers have won 7 of their last 10 and 9 out of 12. Did drop 2 out of 3 in New York. And have lost 3 out of 5 after winning 7 in a row, but they are right there in the thick of that AL Central race.
One changeup and a beauty. You might remember last year when Medlin first got called up, he was having trouble throwing strikes. He was a little nervous and started walking a lot of guys. His average walks per 9 last year as a starter was over 5. This year it's 1.7 as he shows off that real good move.
Payoff pitch with Santiago on the run. Driven well to right. Hayward on his horse and makes the play. Santiago has time to get back, but a great play by Hayward to get back, battle a little bit of early evening sun there, and make the play.
Well, if nothing else, Medlin got him to hit this high fastball to the right part of the ballpark. Out there in deep right center near the bullpen, give Jason a chance to run it down. Santiago was already at second base and had to scoot back. And at least for the next 3 days, Ernie, the fans in Atlanta get to see and watch one of the best hitters in the game, in Miguel Cabrera.
He has certainly got the numbers to back that up. 328. He's number 6 in the American League in hitting. Leads in RBIs with 61. Second in the American League in home runs with 19. He's the Tigers' cleanup hitter. And he bats with 2 down and 1 on here in the first.
I don't know why his name isn't mentioned as prevalently as that of Albert Pujols. When you talk about the best hitters in the game, it seems inevitable that everybody always mentions Pujols first. This guy ought to be mentioned in the same breath when you talk about numbers like that on average over the last 6 seasons.
He's in the second year of a big 7-year contract with this team. 27 years old. That's hit hard to right. Santiago will go first to third, and they're on the corners with 2 down.
And he's done that real well since he first came to the big leagues with the Marlins as a kid. Seems like he's been in the big leagues 15 years, but he's only 27. But he's very good at going inside out to right field if you pitch him that way.
Now, of course, here in Atlanta, a lot of talk about the rookie Jason Hayward. And in Detroit, the talk is all about this guy, a rookie outfielder with a sweet swing, Brennan Bosch. He's got 11 home runs and 39 runs batted in.
He has really just exploded, too. Last year, he hit 28 home runs in Double-A and led the Eastern League in homers. But before that, his season high had been 10. He did not make their club out of spring training. Got called up about 2 or 3 weeks into the season. But he's just really caught fire.
Takes a strike on the corner, a ball and a strike. Hit some shots, too. One report that I read indicated he is second in average home run distance.
No kidding.
To the Giants' Pablo Sandoval. He averages .405. Big guy, 6'6", 210 pounds, 25 years old. And in the month of June, he's played 21 games, hitting .372, 7 home runs, 17 runs batted in. The 2-1 with 2 on. Lined into right field, and the Tigers are on the board. Hayward with the throw to third, and Cabrera's there. 40th RBI of the season for Brennan Bosch.
And he appeared to be smart enough to just sit on that changeup. He waited and waited for it, and he still hit it off the end of the bat, but he pulled it, and it's because it was up. And it was not a good pitch from Chris. His changeup's only going to be effective if he keeps it down.
So with runners at first and third again, here's Carlos Guillen. Five home runs and 21 runs batted in. They've got some pretty good sticks on this team. The Tigers hit .273 as a club, which is good for 6th in baseball.
They have a very good bullpen, hard throwers at the end of their bullpen. Certainly that's something that's become commonplace around baseball, but if they can get their starting pitching going and get a little more consistent, they're going to be tough.
Ball and a strike to Guillen. Downstairs just a bit, 2-1. This is a guy who's played all over the infield, playing second base tonight for Jim Leyland. Brian McCann and Medlin with a 2-out conversation.
A run tonight in the first inning, only the third he's allowed in the first inning total.
Chris Medlin trying to work out of a little first inning jam here. The Tigers have chased one across, threatening to do more. Foul straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on.
Carlos Guillen, the story on him is that he's happy because he's back playing in the middle infield. Tigers moved him around a lot. He played some shortstop, then they got Edgar Renteria from the Braves and they moved him to the outfield. They played him at first, but he's a lot happier playing in the middle infield, and his numbers are reflecting that.
The 2-2 is lined to center. Cabrera back and does make that play. That ball just continued to carry, and Melky stuck with it for the 3rd out. Some balls hit pretty well in that first inning. Tigers score once. Second, Chipper Jones hits third. At third, Troy Gloss, the cleanup hitter. You see Chipper's 8-game hitting streak. Brian McCann will hit fifth, then Yunel Escobar, Omar Infante, Melky Cabrera, and Chris Medlin. And I wonder what the heck is going on in the mind of Andy Oliver right now, Joe.
Well, there's some butterflies flying around in it, that's for sure, Ernie. He was just drafted last year, a second-round pick out of Oklahoma State. Did not pitch last summer until the Fall League when he finally signed and reported. He went to the Arizona Fall League, so he was in Double-A this year, went 6-4 at Erie. This is his debut. Those are the numbers from Erie, Pennsylvania. But the reports on him, big-time fastball, mid-90s and up. We'll find out for ourselves as we watch him get his Major League career underway tonight.
He will face Martin Prado, who is over his last 9. Don't say that very often. He's had a couple of droughts this season, but still leads the National League in hitting at .331.
The biggest oddity is that during that 0 for 9, he struck out 4 times, including 3 times yesterday.
The 2-0. There's the first strike of his big league career. What are the inherent difficulties here if you're facing a guy nobody has seen before?
Trying to be patient to watch the ball out of his hand and see how it comes out of his hand, how he likes to work when he's ahead or behind in the count. Nothing but fastball so far.
I talked to Alex Avila, the Tigers catcher, before the game. Said he caught him a few times in spring training, but he really wasn't with the club in camp. There's the first base hit given up in his career as Prado breaks a little 0 for 9 slide.
They'd only gone hitless in 3 straight games once this season. That was May 6th, 7th, and 8th. So he put that to rest to make sure that didn't happen again. And it came on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
So here's Jason Hayward. Hit hard right at short. Should be 2, but cannot turn it.
That was a very acrobatic play by DN. After it looked like Santiago got a funny hop. He was kind of going to his right and then stopped and had to catch the ball to his left. He's leaning right and then had to catch it left. Bad toss. DN had to catch the toss barehanded and didn't get much on the throw.
So looks can be deceiving. A sharply hit ball on one hop right near the bag, but they cannot turn it, so Hayward's on the field his choice. And here's Chipper. .94 for strike 1. They say his fastball can be overpowering. Throws a curveball, a little change too, but the thing that gets everybody's attention is that heater.
Bobby saw that one coming.
Bobby saw that coming before he even made his move over there.
Chipper's up to 250 thanks to this good hitting streak he's on.
Trying to run it to 9 straight games here.
Their infield is kind of an odd bunch. Brandon Inge, former catcher at third base. Santiago is a middle infielder. Ian broke in as a shortstop, now second baseman. He's a middle infielder. Cabrera was a third baseman, converted to the outfield, then made a first baseman. But they are not a good defensive ball club. In fact, they have the lowest fielding percentage in the American League, dead last.
I saw Oliver get the breaking ball over for a strike. It's 1-2. He's 22. Chipper's 38. He's watching Hayward over there.
Point. And if you're wondering how they can have the worst fielding percentage, if they haven't made the most errors, the point is they have had more chances. Fewer chances rather, that add up to a weaker percentage.
Here's the 2-2. The second. 4-6-3 to end the first. We are heading to the second. 1-0 Tigers.
us an email and have chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to braves@peachtreetv.com, and please tell us your name. More saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
You're watching Braves baseball on Peachtree TV. On a Friday night, opener of a 3-game weekend set with the Detroit Tigers and the end of interleague play.
Braves won 7 games last year in interleague play. They've already won 7 this year. Would like to improve on that, certainly, after the sweep by the White Sox.
Here's one of the true good guys in the game of baseball, Brandon Inge. Fouls off the first pitch. Eventful offseason for Brandon, too. Surgery on both knees. He's been bothered by patellar tendonitis, so it's the tendon just above the kneecap.
Well, he's come to life with the bat. Maybe those knees are beginning to feel just right for him, because he's hit just under 350 over the last 26 games.
The looper to left, and Infante came on to make the play. 1 down.
Medlin could use a 1-2-3 inning after having to exert so much energy in the first.
Here's the Tigers catcher, Alex Avila. His dad is the assistant to the general manager.
Well, he's made a rapid ascension, too, with some good numbers. He was a 5th-round draft pick out of the University of Alabama. Played in rookie ball, played in Double-A last year, got called up at the end of the year because they needed some backup help at the catching position. Hit 5 homers. And he's coming around with a bat, too, hitting over 330 the last 3 weeks.
Got a good arm, too. Threw out a lot of runners in the minor leagues. And comes up here to play with Gerald Laird, who's one of the best defensive catchers you'll find in baseball as well.
And he's a 3rd-generation baseball kid. You mentioned his dad, who's an assistant to the GM. His grandfather, Ralph, longtime scout and executive in the Dodger organization, too. Really a nice man. So he comes by his baseball genes naturally. Been around it his whole life.
And a product of the University of Alabama. He bats 8th in the Tiger lineup and waits on a 2-2. That ball's hit right down the line and right, but foul. Pitcher Andy Oliver is on deck waiting for his first big league at bat. Two-two. He struck him out. That Avila fooled on the 2-2.
Tigers have 25 wins at home. They're 25-11. Only the Red Sox and the Rangers have more home wins in the American League than they do, just 1 more. But on the road, 14-21. 7 games under 500, an area they'd like to improve on.
Oliver takes a strike. It's a key stretch for the Tigers, too. And they're a road trip that has them had them in New York already, and now these 3 in Atlanta, and then to Minnesota. Team they're battling for the top spot. Oliver breaks his bat, and that's the 1-2-3 inning you were looking for.
And I promise you, it wasn't his bat.
It's Alumni weekend. And look at some of the guys back for the weekend, Joe.
It's just great. Steve Avery, you just saw Sid Bream being applauded across the way by Jim Leland. One of my all-time favorites, Marquise Grissom, of course, Murph. A huge ovation. They showed Otis Nixon's catch on the big screen. That, too, was against Jim Leland's club. And the professor's here tonight. Got a big hand. So did Javi Lopez, Jay Howell, Tony Bruzalara, Zane Smith, Craig Scope, Rick Camp, among others that were introduced before the game.
That is always a nice moment. And the fans all remember, and they have the headshots from when they played, and you could get a little bit of a comparison.
Everybody looked good. Brett Clance was here. El Caballo.
Hated to see that Zane Smith had lost the mullet.
Oh, that was a real shame. Yeah.
0-1 to Troy Gloss as he leads off the second. I imagine there are some stories. Bruce Benedict was down there also. We see Benny a lot. And before the night's over, we hope to have a guest or two stop by the booth to reminisce.
As you saw there, Troy Gloss has lost the RBI lead to David Wright, who had a good series against these Tigers. Not so coincidental that when the Mets heated up, so had David Wright.
To short. Santiago.
Come on, Mac.
So since a leadoff single in the first by Prado, the next three have failed to get the ball out of the infield against Andy Oliver. And here's Brian McCann. I imagine in the dugout on a night like this, there's more discussion than normal among hitters. Well, here's what he threw me, and here's what I saw, that kind of thing.
Here's what he started me with. Stayed with the fastball 2-0. Things like that might help you in your at bat. Coming out of his hand nice and easy. I mean, he's been 95 without any problem. 97 on that fastball to Prado, but he doesn't seem to have to exert himself a lot to generate that velocity. 6'3", 210.
Jim Leland was asked, how do you think the kid will handle it? He said, I really don't know much about him. I don't know if he's ready. All I know is he's from Ohio. I'm from Ohio, so he's got that going for him.
Vermillion, Ohio. I'll say what he doesn't have going for him is the fact that Jim Leland has never had a whole lot of patience for young players. So walks will not be tolerated too kindly.
His club is playing well, and he said that's really the biggest difference between last year's team and this year's. I'm throwing 4 rookies out there a lot of nights.
Well, in a surprise, at least to a lot of baseball people, they sent Rick Porcello back to AAA, who was one of the better rookie pitchers in baseball last year. He'd struggled a lot this year. Had a high ERA, and they wanted him to go back to AAA, and it straightened out.
Tap toward third. Inge. There's one. But they will not get Escobar as Cabrera was pulled off the bag.
Well, we've already seen 2 ground balls that should have been pretty routine double play balls that the Tigers didn't turn. Inge gave Guillen a nice feed, but his throw is way off the mark.
So Escobar on the fielder's choice. Omar Infante steps in. They had to like, by the way, what they saw of Porcello last night. As he misses, because he went to, they pitched at Louisville last night, pitched 8 innings, 1 hit, 1 run unearned, and 13 of the first 15 outs were ground outs. Because they said he wanted more on his sink and that his slider wasn't doing much, so that was a very encouraging start.
Had to make them all feel good, especially Rick. Of course, Omar Infante, a former Tiger. The year the Braves got him in the offseason, the Tigers had traded him to the Cubs, and then a short time later he was bounced to Atlanta. The Braves are happy to have him. Had some good numbers for the Tigers, too.
Into left field. Base hit for Infante.
You might remember that last year, Tigers had a comfortable lead coming down the stretch in the American League Central. They had a 3-game lead with 4 games left, and they're the only team in history not to make the postseason with that kind of lead. They wound up tied with the Twins, had a play-in game, and lost that game in Minnesota.
Yeah, that tiebreaker went 12. Makes it even more painful. You lose that lead, then you go extra innings, and then you miss the postseason. In fact, they led by 7 games early in September in the AL Central. Braves down 1-0, but 2 are on with 2 out.
Baby, come out.
He went 4 out of 10 in that White Sox series.
He had an 0 for 3 yesterday, but otherwise had a good series. He hit the ball sharply, played well in center field, made one real good throw to throw out a runner at home plate. The thing the Braves were not able to do, especially those last 2 games in Chicago, were pick up some big hits with runners in scoring position. That's something they've got to get back to and pick up even single runs here and there where they can.
Nice breaking ball by the young left-hander Andy Oliver, who's ahead in the count 1-2.
Well, we're in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Here's a guy who knows that he can throw hard. All his life, he's known that he can throw the ball by people. 95 to 97, 98, even today. So when you start your major league career, your first big league start, the one thing you're going to probably stick with a lot is what you know you can do the best. And gradually, it's up to Alex Avila to try to get him to work that breaking ball in some and let him know that, you know, that's a pretty good pitch too.
He went back-to-back with it, then came with the heater. 1-2. Cabrera's still alive.
But so far it's been about 98% fastballs. Rick Knapp is the pitching coach, as you see, for Jim Leland.
Two on, 2 out. Cabrera takes down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Playing in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Tigers got on the board in the 1st. And the Braves with a chance here with a runner in scoring position. It's Escobar at second, Infante at first.
Tough now.
I like that. Bobby cheering his guys on, and now we know to call Cabrera Mel. Gonna miss that. Gonna miss it a lot.
Waiting on a 2-2 from the 22-year-old. Big early moment for the kid here. Doesn't want to load him up, although the pitcher is on deck.
And that's another thing he may not be used to, pitching in the Eastern League. I don't know if they had the DH in the Eastern League or not, but if it was DH, he wasn't used to that.
Runners going. Lined up the middle. Tie game. Mel comes through with 2 down.
Gotta go, Mel. Well, I think they did know the pitcher was on deck, Ernie, because he went with the curveball 3-2. Wasn't afraid of walking him, knowing that Medlin was up next, but he didn't make a good pitch with it. Left it out over the plate, and Cabrera stayed with it and drove it right back through the middle. Good piece of hitting. And now Medlin with a chance to put himself on top if he can get a base hit. Remember, Chris is a pretty good hitter.
4 out of 16. Knocked in a couple of runs and has walked 3 times.
And as is so often the case, especially with a young pitcher, a walk got the inning started. 1 out.
And you look back and say what should have been a double play ball. It wasn't turned.
Point.
Get the inning going.
I'm at.
That's 94 to his opposite number. Medlin took a hack at it. 0-1.
Tune it up just a touch, Chris.
I'm at.
What do you want to bet this will not be a breaking ball, Joe?
I don't think it will be.
He went 94, 95, 97 to sit down the Braves pitcher, but we're tied as we go to the 3rd.
Fielding percentage among National League second basemen. Martin Prado, 3rd in there behind David Eckstein and Brandon Phillips. Actually tied with Phillips for 2nd in fielding percentage. And how about this play yesterday in the 1st inning? Man, oh man, was that a good play. Had to change directions, catch the ball over his shoulder, lay out for it. So Martine's not only doing it with the bat, he's doing it with the glove too. Having a great year.
Having what should be an all-star year.
You bet.
Is the Atlanta second baseman. Great night here at the ballpark. Glad you're joining us on Peachtree TV for the opener of this set with the Tigers. And it's a 1-1 game as we go to the third. Top of the order for Detroit. Chris Medlin made quick work of Johnny Damon his first time. Struck him out on 3 pitches. Johnny Damon signing that 1-year, $8 million deal in the offseason. Coming over from the world champion Yankees.
Remember, he was all but showing up in Orlando with the Braves camp, too. A lot of rumors circulating about him being an Atlanta Brave instead of a Tiger.
Rounded to short. A little bit of a tricky hop, but Escobar handled it. 1 down.
When an American League team has to go to a National League city, it really does cramp their style. Make no mistake about it. Guys that they would normally have in the lineup for their offense, DH types, can't play. So maybe, in some cases, that DH has to go to the field, something he hasn't been doing a lot of lately. In this case, Johnny Damon may not be playing center field were it not in a National League city. Austin Jackson would be out there. So they have to juggle their lineup a whole lot more than a National League team does when they go to the American League and use the DH.
One ball and 2 strikes. Kind of goes back to the discussion you have, too, about who has the advantage in the interleague situation. And go back to what Joe Madden was telling me last week about, you know, he doesn't see an advantage for the American League when you play that at all. He said, when the National League comes in our park, hey, they don't have to have the pitcher back.
Right.
When we have to go to an NL park, we kind of have to adjust every way, all the way we do things. So that's what Jim Leland is faced with here as the Tigers play in Atlanta.
Well, their DH has not exactly been doing a whole lot this year combined, only 4 homers and 26 RBIs. So they're not missing as much as most teams have been.
On the ground to Prado. Not a problem, 2 down.
Something else, too, Ernie, and that is a guy like Jim Leland managed in the National League a lot. So he's used to the style of play. He knows how to make double switches if he needs to. If he takes a pitcher out, make a substitution in the order that way. A guy like Joe Madden has not managed in the National League, so that's all new stuff to them, and they've really got to be on their toes when they make changes.
Here's Ordonez. Flied to right his first time and fouls it that way again. 0-1. Tigers sent 6 to the plate in the top half of the first and scored once. Since then, Medlin has set down the next 6. There's some company for you on that graphic. Love any graphic that starts with Ty Cobb.
Yeah, some Hall of Famers in there, huh? Harry Heilman, George Kell, Gehringer. That's an amazing assortment to be mixed in with.
Fouled past Gene Lamont down there at third.
Gene started to pick that up, but it was going too slow for him.
I thought there might be a dive.
He only picks them up if they're hot shots. Again, there's another changeup that was high, maybe even too high.
The change got him.
What a difference. When it's down, it's devastating.
He set down 7 in a row. We're tied at 1. Good luck to Bobby from Macon, GA. Braves at the top of the order in the 3rd. Martin Prado singled his first time and was forced at second. And takes a strike. You know, it's Alumni weekend, and a lot of old Braves in town, or a lot of former Braves in town. Not old Braves, former Braves. Guys like Steve Avery, who is joining us here in the booth here on Peachtree TV. Good to see you, left-hander.
Hey, thanks for having me. That's great.
It's wonderful to see you. What was it like to run out on the first base line and hear from the fans tonight as you guys were introduced?
It's a good time, and it's just really, I'll let you call that one.
I would say it's deep to the track and not light enough. I was going to say you're welcome to stay here the rest of the night if that's the kind of luck you're going to bring us.
One down. Yeah, the only bad thing is I hate to say it, but this is my childhood team here, the Tigers, so it made it doubly cool to come down this week. But it was just really neat seeing everybody again, and it's been I haven't been down since the 95 10-year reunion, so it's been a little bit, and it's great to be back.
You know, I was talking to Smoltz about you just a couple of weeks ago. I asked if he had heard from you or talked to you, and he said he had. And that you're playing a lot of softball. Is that right?
No. He set me up for something, right?
Okay.
He set me up for something tomorrow, isn't he?
That's what he told me.
No, if you play softball on the golf course, then I'd say yes.
Okay.
you old Smotsy one, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I tried that for like half of a summer and couldn't take anymore.
Here is Jason Hayward, 1-1. I'm sure that you have seen this guy. You haven't been down here, but I'm sure you've seen some highlights of this young man, 20-year-old left-handed hitter.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the future's bright with these young guys they're bringing in, and then Bobby's left the team in a good spot for whoever takes over next year. But it's nice to see a lot of young talent coming through here.
It's hard to believe that Bobby's walking away, huh?
It is. I mean, I can still remember when he took over in the middle of 1990. I mean, I had just been up for maybe 3 weeks, and Russ Nixon got fired, and Bobby came in. And actually, Bobby had scouted me, as a player in Michigan, a high school player. And for him to take over, out of the GM spot was, a little bit surprising. But what a great manager. I mean, I think, everyone I've talked to tonight, it says the same exact thing. He says, Bobby's the best manager they ever played for, and it's hard to find people that don't say that about him.
We see some of the old images of the playoffs and what a special time that was. When you think back, I mean, is there one thing, Steve, that sticks out for you?
Well, I think 91 was a special year for all of us. Just because everything was new. I mean, we've been so bad the year before, and just to get that good that quick was exciting for all of us.
Stick around. This has been the Airtran Airways home run inning of the game. No winner tonight. Be sure to register at peachstreettv.com/contest. Detroit Tigers here on Peachtree TV, and it's Alumni Weekend. Steve Avery continues his visit with us here on Peachtree TV. So let's talk about, for the fans out there, so what's Steve Avery up to these days? You know, wife, kids, what are you doing in your spare time, that kind of stuff. Fill us in.
Yeah, I got 3 kids, and it's amazing how much time I spend in the car with them. But actually, that's the main reason I'm down here is, you know, I retired pretty young, had my kids pretty young. So Evan, you know, my kids didn't really get to see me play too much. So I wanted to bring Evan down, my 16-year-old, and get him kind of, you know, a little taste of what it was like for us in the past.
What's he throw? Lefty?
Yeah, he's a lefty. He's got all 3 pitches. So he loves baseball. That's all he dreams about. So
Miguel Cabrera leads it off, top half of the 4th.
Well, while John Smoltz was setting you up on the softball thing, he also paid a huge compliment to you on the phone to me the other day. He's not going to be here Monday night when we have the game with the Nationals and Steven Strasburg pitches. So he was giving me his scouting report because he's watched him pitch twice, I think. And among the things he said, in addition to, he said he has the best curveball he's ever seen. But he said in terms of his mechanics and what a straight line guy he is, and coming to the big leagues with those mechanics, he said they're the best I've seen since Steve Avery.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good compliment.
That's a pretty good compliment coming from Smoltzy, since you know, he's going to the Hall of Fame too. So I just I got a chance to watch him pitch his first game. I haven't seen him throw since, but just pure stuff wise, it's pretty fun to watch. I mean, there's not many people that make you say, oh, that's something there, and he's one of them.
The Braves are facing a kid tonight, this Andy Oliver, who's 22 years old. You remember what was going on in your mind and in the pit of your stomach the first night that you had the Major League uniform on, Steve?
Well, I was just trying to find my uniform because or my equipment, because I left my equipment bag in the back of a cab. We were in Cincinnati, and they drop you off underneath, and I got out and went in the clubhouse all excited and got in there. I was like, wait a second, I forgot. I tried to run the cab down, and luckily the cabbie came back because my equipment bag was in the back of in the trunk.
That's a little panic for a young guy.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of panic when you're a young major leaguer, and you know, I was 20 years old and didn't know left from right, but you know, things turned out pretty well for me.
Who was the biggest influence on you when you got here? Who took you under their wing?
Well, we had a pretty young team. I mean, that was you know, the good thing about it. We kind of all grew up together. You know, I know John, being from Michigan, he kind of pulled me aside a little bit more than most, and you know, tried to hang out with him and spend a lot of time on the golf course and just tried to, you know, figure out what to do to get hitters out. And, you know, I was pretty fortunate to play with a lot of amazing pitchers. You know, just tried to learn as much as I could from those guys and go from there.
One down here in the fourth. Steve Avery visiting with us here on Peachtree TV. This is Brennan Bosch. And that was a missile that Gloss flagged down at first. 2 down.
This guy's hitting everything right on the screws. Man, oh man. He has to be an odds-on favorite for the American League Rookie of the Year at this point.
Leads all AL rookies with a .346 average and 11 homers and 39 runs batted in. He can add 1 to that in the first inning tonight. And 28 extra base hits. Carlos Guillen. Well, after that first inning trouble for Chris Medlin, he has settled down. Set down 9 in a row.
This young guy's got a good changeup, Steve. Something that sometimes doesn't come to a young pitcher right away, as you know, but he's got great touch and feel for it. Not afraid to throw it any time.
Yeah, well, when these hitters start turning your fastball around and you're not used to that, you got to come up with something that'll get them out. And, you know, everyone's got pretty much fastball, breaking ball, but the changeup, I think, is what separates the really good pitchers.
Knows how to wear that hat too. He's got it right down there, low on his eyes, like Steve Avery used to.
Yeah, I try not to get mine crooked, but being left-handed, I don't think I can help it sometimes.
So what's the scoop this weekend? What else are you guys going to be doing? Is there a softball game tomorrow? I hate to bring up softball again.
Yeah, I think we got a big softball game tomorrow. I'm going to have to get some rest tonight and try and come out and give my best. And then, you know, like I said, we've been sitting up in the suite just catching up with everyone. And, you know, when you get out of baseball, it's easy to lose touch with people, but it's amazing how quickly you can you know, start recalling old times and everything comes back. So it's been really a neat experience for me tonight.
You on a pitch count tomorrow?
I hope they don't make me pitch. I was kind of hoping to hit. You know, I got the bad thing is when I was playing baseball, everyone always told me I had a softball swing. So we'll see if that's the truth.
We're in the top of the fourth. Nobody on. 2 out. A full count to Carlos Guillen. Here it comes from Chris Medlin. Flared. Just fair into left. Guillen will try to stretch it into a double. And had the throw been right there, that may be out number 3. He just kind of eased into second.
Good play by Infante out there. He just barehanded this ball after he got to it. And like a good infielder, came up throwing after he barehanded it, but a little off the mark. Well, I remember you being a good hitter. May have been a softball swing, but you were a good hitter. I remember that day in San Francisco at Candlestick when you hit a homer and the umpire said it was a ground rule double. I remember that one.
Yeah, that one hurt. That would have been my first one. And, you know, you got to listen to guys like Smoltz and all those guys saying you'll never get one now. But I ended up getting a couple over.
4, says Hal Galima.
I'll tell you what, I put Brandon Inge against pretty much anyone in the league in a long drive competition.
Is that right?
Yeah, I played some golf with him, and he hits it farther than anyone I've ever seen.
No
it's
kidding.
Unbelievable.
You got a hold of that wedge before the game tonight. In the pregame, you went to the warning track.
Yeah, well, you had to bring that up, didn't you? I'll use any excuse I can, but I couldn't come up with anything for that. That's a 100-yard shot, and I have no reason to hit it that far.
You don't know your own strength.
Exactly.
Look at that bat. Well, that's the inning. Steve Avery, it's been wonderful spending some time with you. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And this will make you feel old, folks.
Good
Steve Avery
guys.
is 40 years old. Look pretty good for a 40-year-old man.
Thanks.
A Braves legend. I'm telling you.
Skinny field.
I tell people it was 30 years and 30 pounds ago.
Murphy, it's always good to see you. Thanks for
it's great
for
to
stopping
come
by, man. Great
it's
to see
great
you.
to be here. Thanks, Joe. Ernie, thank you.
What's it like? What's it like for you on a weekend like this to see Benny and the rest of those guys down there?
It's just nonstop laughing and making fun of each other, just like it used to be. But it's great, and we're really excited. Thankful the Braves put together this weekend. Look forward to just keeping it going because it's a lot of fun and. It's fun to be out there with the fans and relive some of the old memories.
Troy Gloss takes a strike to open up the bottom half of the fourth in a 1-1 game.
Yeah, they're going to have you guys busy this weekend. Softball game tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope no one shows up for that softball game. You think anyone's going to be here to watch that? No, I can't.
That ball's hit to left, and Brennan Bosch didn't have to move. One down.
He is swinging so good, Troy Gloss.
What an adjustment he made after the beginning of the year, huh?
Yeah, and I didn't really realize how much time he missed last year. I knew he was hurt, but people were telling me how much time he missed. Man, he's swinging good, and it's exciting. Just
whole team's playing good.
Yeah, really good. And Jurgens comes back next week, I think. Is that right?
Sounds like it. Yeah, after a rehab assignment again yesterday.
Yeah, that's good. No, and I want to take that back about not having anybody watch that softball game tomorrow.
Oh no,
we knew where you were going with
it. We're
this.
inviting everybody out.
Yeah.
It starts at 3:30. No. No, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure Nuxie will get a couple hits, but no one else will. It'll be a lot of fun. And then we got the gala Sunday night, and then the golf tournament Monday. So it's really going to be fun.
Come on, Mac.
So I assume you've been taking some swings in the cage in preparation for tomorrow.
Yeah, I have, and we got BP tomorrow too. So
oh, good.
Yeah. Rick Camp's getting that organized, so we should be ready to go.
Spent some time with Bobby Cox tonight?
No, yeah, said hi and get a little more time tomorrow. And, I'm just one of those guys, everybody always asks me about Bobby and playing for Bobby, and I'm just one of those guys that there are a number of guys that he had patience with, he hung in there with, gave me a chance to play, moved me around positions, and if I'd been with another organization, another manager, it may not have happened. I mean, I was swinging a little better. I was, hitting better, but I didn't have a position. And Bobby just we're going to hang in there with you and got me in the outfield, and I'll always be thankful for that.
Longtime Braves fans will remember your days as your days behind the plate with this team. No, that's all I'm going to say. They will remember your days behind the plate with this team.
Yeah. Well, you know, my dad at spring training, I was supposed to make the team that one year, and I was throwing it everywhere. And
Brian McCann gets a hold of one to left center. Does he have enough? Braves lead.
there you go.
Number 100 in his career.
He had some really good swings this at bat. He kind of tipped the ball unintentionally, and it aggravated him. But he puts a charge in this one, and as we keep saying, Dale, when he hits the ball to left center, you know that Brian's on the ball.
Yeah. I mean, what a player. He's been an all-star already how many times?
4 times.
4 times. I mean, he's just a professional baseball player. I mean, he reminds me of the guys that just know how to play. He's so young, but knows how to play, how to catch, has a great feel for the game, and he's just fun to root for. I mean, great guy. And I actually got a story about him that I thought, if we got time, you guys tell me when. I thought it was really something.
You got the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, well, I'll pause it. Okay, well, I'll start here. A few years ago, they called
Sorry, Dale, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Here's the pitch. No, go ahead. Make it quick. I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
It's not that long of a story, but usually my wife, Nancy, says, speed it up a little bit. But anyway, here it goes. You know, the older I get, the more I talk. I would never talk this much 20 years ago. I'll wait till this pitch happens. I think we got another long one coming. So they called me and Nuxie, and I can't remember who else. It was Sports South, or someone was doing a promo. And Nuxie had this line, back when I played, real men threw knuckleballs. Or something like that, you know, real men. And then I stepped in and said, yeah, well, it took, now I'm messing it up. But it took a better man to hit it. And we laughed and needled each other. So they called Frank Brewer and McCann over, some of the young guys. They wanted to play off the.
But 2 down.
They want to play the old versus young. So Brian comes over and he's got his gear on, and Nuxie goes through his line. You know, back when I played, it took a real man to throw a knuckleball. And Brian walked in and said, and a better man to catch it. So we film it, you know, and I'm sitting over there with Nuxie and Brian sitting down there, and all of a sudden Brian goes, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't say that. We're like, what's wrong, Brian? He goes, this is Phil Necro. I can't say I'm a better man than Phil Necro. And we're like, Brian, it's okay. It's a commercial. You know, don't worry about it. He goes, no, I can't do it. And so Nuxie and I looked at each other. And Nuxie goes, he wants to do it over. And sure enough, Brian said, no, I don't want to do it that way. We have to change that dialogue, because I cannot say to Phil Necro, I'm a better man. And
Brandon Inge.
And so I was like, Nuxie, is that amazing or what? I told Brian, I said, Brian, I said it. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. But he just couldn't do it. He had to redo it out of respect for Nuxie.
Stick around. We'll be right back. Top half of the fifth in Atlanta. Braves on top 2-1 on the 100th career home run for Brian McCann. A solo shot, which broke a 1-1 tie. Alex Avila will lead it off, the Tigers catcher. Ernie Johnson, Joe Simpson, joined by Dale Murphy for another half inning here on Alumni weekend at Turner Field. Chris Medlin. I'll tell you, that off speed is devastating. 0-1.
I was watching some of those highlights on that, those tapes we were showing of you, Dale, and you made that one catch, ran into a wall, and kind of braced yourself. Melky might have to do the same thing.
That ball is scorched to straightaway center field.
But what I noticed right away was that the wall wasn't padded. It was like a plywood fence. Of course, I remember at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium there was the plexiglass at one time too. These days, nice and padded everywhere.
Yeah, well, when it first came here, there was a chain link fence, you know, and we all know how dangerous those were to run into. And then they started covering those up, and they gave a little bit, but if you hit the fence wrong right in the seam in between panels, it wouldn't give.
Right.
But no, it's you know, there's a few things that are a little bit better now than the old days. But that's good. I mean, but I'll tell you, you know, and one of the things is these athletes, these players now they're amazing, and you know, I don't think any guy that played 20 years ago cannot say that these guys are better athletes. They played more baseball before the era started. You know, like Jason Hayward played. You know, he's 20, but you know, I don't know how many hundreds of games he's played.
Right.
You know, not counting his professional before he signed. You know, kids play a lot more now, and they're ready to go earlier, and with weight training and all that they do. I mean, I remember when I first signed, we weren't supposed to lift weights.
Right.
You remember those days?
Don't get muscle bound.
Yeah, don't get muscle bound. It's like, well, yeah, and I never had that problem. But you know, it's fun to watch. I mean, and I'll tell you, pitchers all throw harder. I ask Hub all the time. I go, are guys throwing harder now? He goes, well, yeah. He goes, if you don't throw at least 94, 95, you know, you better have something else. And you know, I don't remember staffs having that many hard throwers.
No, and
a few crafty guys.
Everybody on there in most bullpens had a trick pitch of some sort.
Yeah.
And maybe one hard thrower, but now every staff at the end of the bullpen, they've got everybody throwing 94, 95.
Yeah, and a lot more split finger guys.
Andy Oliver making his big league debut tonight on the mound for the Tigers and unable to move the runner over. One down.
Did you work out much in the off season?
Well, I started to. I mean, in the early 80s. You know, it was, like I said, when I signed in 74 in high school, we were doing a few things, but it was, you know, don't get too involved with weights because the old theory was it would mess up your swing or something. And then, but finally, in the early 80s, I remember I was talking to Tom Pachork. He goes, no, this is the way you got to go now. You got to start working out. And but even then, it was still kind of a new thing, you know, and now it's fantastic. And I know minor leagues, I think every organization, minor leagues, on the road, get up at 10 o'clock, catch a bus out in front of the hotel, and they'll go to work out at a local club. And, I mean, that's fantastic. It's fantastic. So these guys they're better athletes, no question about it.
Going back as far as we all do, and I remember watching your family grow up, and you and Nance had a slew of kids. And how is everything at home these days? How's Nancy?
Yeah, Nancy's doing great. Thank you, Thrash. She's doing great. And I'll go from. We probably don't have time for me to go through every one of them, what they're doing.
No, because that is a large family. But you got somebody playing in the NFL.
It is only a 9-inning game. So
yes. Well.
No, yeah, Sean got drafted by the Marlins.
Be the Dolphins? Maybe?
Yeah, that would be the Dolphins. And was with the Bucks last year. He's recovering from ankle surgery now and is looking to go to camp after he recovers from this ankle surgery. So it's been a fantastic experience. And I'll say, I'll go at the top and bottom. Chad's 30 with 2 kids, and Madison's a senior in high school. So, and I got 3 grandkids.
So you.
I think that Braves fans are a little nervous when I start talking about how many grandkids I got.
Wow, it is.
Where's the time gone?
It is so good to have you back in Atlanta, and I know I speak for Braves fans in this ballpark and all those listening and watching on Peachtree TV tonight that you are unforgettable.
Well, that's so nice.
What you gave to this community in the course of your career is just tremendous, Dave.
Well, thank you, Nancy. I have great memories here.
That ball is curving foul to right.
And all the kids were born here, and maybe that's why I ended up with so many football players. They're drinking this water in Georgia that I ended up with more football players than baseball players. But like I said, Nancy and I and the kids have best of memories, and it was really fun to be out there with the guys. And I didn't play with half those guys, played with a few of them, but to be out on that line, and John Sherrill said some really nice things, and it's the further you get away from it, the more you appreciate it. And unfortunately, I appreciate it when I played, but now it's like, man, that was some great memories.
Santiago hits the 0-1. A lazy fly ball to center, and Melky Cabrera makes the play. And so the side is retired here in the 5th for Detroit. Murph, always
Thanks,
great
sir.
to see you, kid. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
I believe some tall tales are going to get even taller over the next 24 to 48 hours.
If we'd been smart enough to mic one of those guys secretly when they went upstairs, that would have been worthwhile to hear the goings on.
Major burn. Atomic bomb. Yeah, that'll be fun to watch tomorrow before the afternoon game, softball game featuring some of the Braves alumni. Here's Melky Cabrera leading off the bottom half of the 5th. Kid Andy Oliver, making his big league debut, has allowed 2 runs. One of those a home run to Brian McCann.
But has otherwise pitched pretty well. I mean, he's only walked 1 batter, struck out 2. I'd say he has collected his nerves pretty well.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Cabrera singled his first time. To short. Santiago gets him by a step, 1 down.
And with 1 out, here's tonight's Toyota trivia question. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota moving forward. Bobby Cox and Jim Leland have met as managers in the most postseason games, 20 of them. Which 2 managers are second? So I assume that means head-to-head. 20 different games.
Ready? Come on, kid.
20 games. You might think of the Yankees and the old Brooklyn Dodgers and all those World Series. Walter Alston, Casey Stengel type.
Swing it. Ah, man.
Chris Medlin got a piece of that one. He struck out his first time. Martin Prado waits on deck. They didn't throw him the fastball.
I wouldn't expect him to double up on the breaking ball here, Chris.
Nope.
Well, he's run the count full, 3-2 with 1 out here in the 5th.
Yeah, actually, Oliver kind of aimed that one, took a little off, 93. Just trying to get it over.
Two up and 2 down.
How about some footage of those 2 guys managing against each other? 1991 and 92. 2 young men. Bobby Cox and Jim Leland going at it. Of course, Jim Leland has got some mixed emotions about playing against Atlanta. Of course, the Sid Bream slide when he was managing the Pirates. But he also came in here with the Florida Marlins on their way to the World Championship and beat Atlanta in the NLCS.
A good fastball from Oliver to Martin Prado. He's consistently mid-90s.
Strike.
There's a changeup. Haven't seen many of those tonight. It was 88.
Martin is 1 out of 2. Has 104 hits now,
Up, run.
which continues to lead all of baseball.
Maybe. Hitter for Jake.
Product of Oklahoma State University, and made the jump straight to the majors from Double-A ball. Foul down the right side. Cabrera gives chase.
Blue light, run.
There was an interesting beginning to his career, too, in college, coming out of high school in Ohio, where he was declared ineligible with Oklahoma State in their postseason, I believe, his freshman year, because the NCAA had said he used an advisor illegally after he'd been drafted by the Twins out of high school, meaning an agent type.
Right.
Well, he and his family sued the NCAA, claiming they did not, and actually won the case.
Prado skies it to right. Ordonez makes the play. 3 up and 3 down. The rookie is through 5. The Braves lead it 2-1.
Walter Alston? The answer is Miller, Huggins, and John McGraw instead. Giants and Yankees. 19 times.
But you were going deep archive, and so I'll give you.
Yeah, I was trying to go 50s. I didn't think to go 20s.
Exactly. Jimmy Leland's Tigers down 2-1 as we move to the top half of the 6th inning. And Chris Medlin has done some great work as a starter for this team. They allowed 1 run in this game, and that came in the first.
Nice get over breaking ball for a strike to start Maglio Ordonez, who's a good fastball hitter.
In 8 starts for Medlin, he's only allowed more than 3 earned runs once. He leads 2-1 here in the 6th. You can hear Marty Foster say that's outside. Just did miss.
One thing you have to keep an eye on here, pitches 1 through 75, very low opponent's average against him, but after the 76th pitch, it goes up. And he's at number 79. This is number 80 right here. And to me, what that says, not so much that there's any change about his change up, Ernie, unless maybe he's leaving it up, not finishing on his pitches, but maybe lose a little steam on his fastball, where the hitters after 80 pitches or after 75 pitches begin to catch up to his fastball a little better.
Ordonez number 7 in the American League in hitting, and the guy who's number 6 bats right behind him, Miguel Cabrera. There's some dangerous sticks in this inning. He fooled Ordonez for the 2nd time. Time now to take a look at the SunTrust Solid Performance, brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, think solid. Miguel Cabrera. Only Ryan Howard with more RBIs since 2007. And back to the point you were making earlier, Joe, about this guy maybe not getting the credit he deserves when you talk big picture in baseball on the most dangerous hitters around.
He's right there. I mean, he deserves to be right there when you start talking about the best hitters in the game. And really of this era. He hits for high average. He hits for power. He drives in runs.
How about these road numbers he's got, too? 33 games, 34 runs batted in. 351 average with 11 home runs.
343 average with runners in scoring position. He's in better shape. There was a time where, when he first went to the Tigers, where he got a little portly, shall we say, but committed himself to some rehab work and conditioning work over the winter that got him in some of the best shape of his career. And as you said, he's only 27.
Dangerous pitch here for Medlin. 3-1 in a 1-run game.
And again, another guy from, I say it repeatedly, from Martin's hometown, Maracay, Venezuela.
Good pitch, 3-2.
You've always heard people talk about San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic, and how many shortstops and middle infielders they put out. Well, good baseball players are flying out of Maracay, Venezuela.
Look out. Boy, that always scares you on a line drive into the stands like that. That hit a railing and bounced back about 30 rows. Hit hard and into left, base hit. He's 2 out of 3. And that brings Brennan Bosch to the plate.
He drove in the only run of the night for Detroit back in the first inning. He was kind of sitting on a changeup. big swing, got it off the end of the bat a little bit, but got it past Martin Prado. His 40th RBI of the year. If you don't know anything about this guy, you need to start paying attention because he's leading American League rookies in just about every offensive category.
To left. Infante had him played well. He's up there swinging. Jim Leland says the guy's mantra is "Thou shalt not pass."
Well, lately what he's swinging at, he hits and hits hard. That's 3 line drives tonight.
And he really got his opportunity when this guy, Carlos Guillen, went on the disabled list earlier with a hamstring problem. Came up and made an immediate impact. Guillen is 1 out of 2. Doubled in the 4th, but did not score.
If the Braves want to stay in first place tonight, they need to hang on to this lead. Mets are winning over Minnesota 5-2 in the 7th, and in an odd series at Philadelphia, the Phillies lead 8-0. The reason it's odd is that the Phillies will be the visiting team at Citizens Bank Park for all 3 games in Philadelphia because of the G12 conference.
G20 summit,
yeah, 20, is that it? I lose track of how many they invite each year.
So Toronto unable to host that series, but they are the home team in Philadelphia, and they're going up against Roy Halladay tonight.
He's firing a shutout.
What a scene that would have been,
yeah,
if they had stayed in Toronto. So thanks to all those associated with the G20.
Yeah.
Interesting, too, that Minnesota Mets series goes on at the same time this one does, with the half game between. There can be a lot of changes in the AL Central and the NL East in the course of those 2 weekend series. Guillen just reached out, and so did Medlin, and he threw him out. 1 hit for the Tigers, but they stay down by 1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
South tomorrow afternoon. Check that time. 4:05 first pitch. Sunday afternoon, 1:35 first pitch. That'll be the Braves against the Tigers on Fox Sports South. Tomorrow afternoon, Kenshin Kawakami against Max Scherzer. And then a heck of a matchup Sunday. Tommy Hansen against Jason Verlander. You'd figure there'd be a few U-turns on that one. Then the Nationals come to town. And you get your first look at Steven Strasburg here Monday night against Tim Hudson. We'll have it for you right here on Big Street TV.
That's going to be some fun on Monday. There'll be some folks in the seats for that one. Nice crowd tonight, too, on a Friday night here in Atlanta. And they're watching a good one. 2-1 game. Braves lead in the bottom of the sixth with Jason Hayward leading it off.
Need to get this guy going, Ernie. He's really scuffled this month.
Especially against lefties. He's now 2 for 30 against left-handed pitching in the month of June.
And you cut him some slack there because there have been some good lefties lately. Danks, Burley, and now this hard-throwing lefty for the Tigers. That's pretty tough duty. But there aren't any real slackers in Major League Baseball. You're not going to run into too many softies. The area that is, I think, of most concern for Jason, and includes a strikeout tonight, 32 strikeouts this month. He only had 10 total in the month of May.
Chipper fouls one back. Well, when you look at that number, then how do you fear, or what do you theorize is the cause? Is it that there's a book on Jason Hayward now?
There's some of that, sure. Scouts are getting around to see him more often. They're making a book on him about how to get him out. They see pitches that work, some that don't. So that's going to be part of it. The other part, I think, is him having to make ongoing adjustments as needed with the help of Terry Pendleton. But I've gone on record, I've said before, I think he stands a little too far from the plate. And we just saw another ball bounced hard into that area in front of home plate. You see so many choppers, which to me is him trying to reach for balls that he can't get to in the way.
Chipper's trying to extend an 8-game hitting streak. And this performance tonight by Andy Oliver, not totally unexpected when the guy is totally new to a team, throws as hard as he does from the left side. And the hitting streak has reached 9 games for Chipper.
Jim Leland's not one to throw around a lot of compliments, but I would guess that at this point he's very pleased with what he's seen from young Mr. Oliver. And again, if you go in and ask him about it, he'll probably give you one of those, yeah, he threw a nice game. He threw a nice game. When the truth of the matter is, your first big league start against a team that's in first place, it's a pretty good outing.
Yeah, in their place, too.
Yeah.
1 out, 1 on for Troy Gloss.
They've got some action going in their bullpen, as you can see.
Troy is grounded out to short, flied out to left. That's now with Chipper leading from first. Tap to the mound. He'll go to second. And that was a risky play, but he did get the force at second. And Troy beat the Rap at first.
That had to be coming from Avila, the catcher, who instructed him to go to second. It was a good call because they got the out.
There was no hesitation.
He was busting it to get down there, too. He just couldn't get there in time. And Knapp out again to talk to the young pitcher. Brad Thomas and Eddie Bonine warming up in their bullpen.
Andy Oliver working in the 6th inning. In this, his first big league start, up from Double-A the Erie Seawolves. Minor League Baseball has some of the best nicknames you will find.
Several of their minor league teams, of course, are the Tigers at various levels. They've got a team in Lakeland, Florida State League. They're the Lakeland Flying Tigers.
And, of course, the Toledo Mud Hens.
As famous as any minor league team.
With 2 out, Brian McCann, who's the difference in this game right now. Line foul into the seats.
Came in the 4th inning with 1 out. Looked like a fastball out away from him, and he launched his 100th career homer.
That broke a 1-1 tie, and that's where we stand. He's hit 3 home runs in his last 5 games. Behind in the count, 0-2. Took a little off, but missed a ball and 2 strikes.
Come back.
It's the second pitcher this week to make his big league debut for Jim Leland. Foul straight back. Jay Spores came out of the pen and made his debut the other night against the Mets and hit the first 2 batters he faced. Then got a couple outs, then allowed 3 hits.
He's a guy that was a high draft choice for them, a 2nd-round pick a few years ago, but he's battled injuries up and down the minor leagues, trying to get to the big leagues.
The 1-2 gets away, and Troy Gloss in scoring position now with a 2-2 count to McCann.
Avila tried his best to get in front of it, skipped off his shin guard. Tigers have battled a lot of arm problems with their staff, though, over the last couple of years. They do have Joel Zamaya back, though, in their bullpen. He's healthy and throwing about 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Got some hefty guys. Valverde comes out of that pen, too.
Jose relaxing before he's needed tonight.
He just blew it right past Brian McCann to end the 6th inning. It's still a 2-1 Atlanta lead.
Visit the world of Coca-Cola today.
Say, fans, remember this homestand includes the July 4th holiday. Get your tickets today for the weekend of July 2nd through the 4th. Fans have 2 chances to see the #1 fireworks show in the Southeast on Friday night and then again on Sunday night. Plus, it's Braves Foundation weekend. Buy great signed memorabilia for a good cause. And for game tickets, visit Braves.com/tickets. And that'll be the series against the Florida Marlins, who will come in here with a new manager and maybe another new manager by the time that happens.
A lot of reports, Joe, about Bobby Valentine, and some saying that it's a done deal.
He's supposed to be going down to Florida tonight for visits with the owner, Jeffrey Loria.
Brandon Inge leading off in the top half of the 7th. He's 0 for 2. And after this series with the Tigers, then it's all division games going into the All-Star break. Washington and Florida here, Philadelphia and New York on the road. See how the landscape changes by the All-Star break. Chris Medlin, that hat pulled down, working in the 7th inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
White Sox won again tonight. They shut out the Cubs. Cubs played a 13-inning game yesterday in Seattle and then had to travel back to Chicago and play today against the White Sox and got blanked. So for Chicago, that's 10 in a row. The Chicago White Sox, that is.
The 3-2. Tried to check it. Gary Cedarstrom says he did. So you got a runner at first to start off the top half of the 7th inning.
First walk of the night. Let's see. Did he stop it? Yeah. Had a little trouble again. You know, Carlos Zambrano said he was turning over a new leaf for the Cubs and it was going to control his temper. I don't think that was the case today at U.S. Cellular.
Yeah, he's
not celebrating being back in Chicago. And then he and Derek Lee went after it. Apparently he was mad at Lee. He, in his opinion, should have made a play on a ball down the line.
Somewhere Michael Barrett is saying, I know where he's coming from. White Sox in that Chicago series, as you pointed out, shutting out the Cubs. Boy, the Cubs' bats have been nowhere.
Carlos Quentin's bat somewhere.
Yes, indeed.
3 homers against the Braves in that series and another one today. And David Wright stays hot for the Mets.
Avila in the air to left. Infante makes the play, 1 down. How about the Texas Rangers? Winners of 11 straight. Josh Hamilton hitting safely in 18 straight games. It was 17. They gave him the day off. He comes back, gets 3 hits the next night.
That's when you know you're going good.
They're trailing against the Astros tonight.
Hey, the Astros handled the Giants in a series. Good for Houston. They need something right to go their way.
And in the Arizona-Tampa Bay matchup, that is the first time that the Upton brothers will have faced each other in organized sports, gone against each other.
Is that right?
Yeah, Justin's 22 and BJ's 25, and Dad Manny and Mom Yvonne are going to be there. Big contingent of family going to be down there to watch it. And the word was that Yvonne, the mom, was trying to get a jersey made that had both teams represented. Ryan Rayburn pinch hitting now for Andy Oliver. That's not a bad debut. Went 6 innings and allowed only 2 runs. One of those a long ball by Brian McCann. That's the difference in the game.
Good line for your first outing. We're told that Edwin Jackson has a no-hitter for the Diamondbacks through 7 1/3 innings down in Tampa. Detroit only down a run, have 10 wins when they trail after 6 innings, and that's the most in the major leagues.
Medlin misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Tigers with a runner at first, down 1 here in the 7th. And here comes pitch number 105 from Chris Medlin. Popped him up. Chipper calls. And Escobar calls him off. 2 down.
Just check the Braves bullpen. They've got Jay Howell and Paul Ossenmacher loosening up down there. Oh, wait. No, that's Moylan and O'Flaherty. My mistake.
Paul Ossenmacher, a beauty. And it looks like 105 pitches will be enough tonight for Chris Medlin.
Good line for him, too. Really did a good job of avoiding any more damage in the first inning after giving up 3 hits, only the 1 run.
This call to the bullpen is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Chris Medlin. Here in the 7th.
Everybody on their team that's faced O'Flaherty is 0 for 1, with the exception of Johnny Damon, who's 2 for 7.
Brandon Inge leads from first. And it's an 0-2 count to Damon. The only walk of the night allowed by Medlin is the guy standing on first base right now. 2 down. I tell you what, after that first inning, in which the Tigers had 3 hits and scored a run, they didn't do anything against Medlin.
Yeah, 3-hit shutout after that. 1 extra base hit, or make it 2 extra base hits, double by Guillen and a double by Avila. A very good line for him, and again pitched into the 7th. Fourth time out of his last 5 starts he's pitched at least into the 7th. Flaherty did not pitch in Chicago. Pitched in all 3 games last weekend against Kansas City. So he needed a day off or two and should be real fresh tonight.
McCann dug that one out of the dirt, 2-2. Tigers are 0 for their last 9 with men on. And Damon bats with Inge at first. The 2-2 pitch.
Braves bullpen as a whole has been very good. I know Saito gave up the home run yesterday and took the loss on the blast by Konerko, but for the month of June, they have a 2.82 ERA as a group, and that's the lowest ERA of any of the first 3 months. Good try there, but had him 0-2.
And now it's full to the Tigers' leadoff hitter. The Braves with baseball's best home record at 24-7. Trying to make it 25. They lead 2-1. And Damon takes ball 4. Runners at first and second. Now 2 walks in the inning.
When you're about to get to a part of the order you don't want to be pitching to with runners on base. So go after Santiago.
The Tigers switch hitting shortstop. Singled in the first. Scored the Tigers' only run.
Better hitter left-handed than right. Excuse me. I've got that backwards. Better right-handed than left. He's hitting .292 right-handed.
The tying run is at second. 2 outs in the 7th. To second. Prado throws him out. You can exhale, Chris Medlin. You're still leading 2-1. Pick up a copy of Sports Illustrated. It's the one with Kobe Bryant on the cover, and inside, the magical season of the Macon Ironmen, Macon, Illinois, and it's really kind of a Hoosiers story of high school baseball, and that guy, Brian Snitker, the Braves' third base coach, played on that team. It is just a charming article about a magical season of high school baseball where a little school went up against a big school, and I'm not going to give away anything else. But pick up Sports Illustrated. Great story.
I can't wait to read it.
Yunel Escobar leading off in the bottom half of the 7th inning against Eddie Bonine, and skies the first pitch to right. That is just fair for 1 down. Ryan Rayburn stays in the game to play center field. And there is Eddie Bonine, who became a father for the first time on Father's Day.
Wow,
how special is that?
Just a 2.08 average against him and a good ERA. For starters, ERA not the best among American League ranks. But the bullpen ERA has been good. Overall, 319 mark for the pen, and that's 3rd best in the American League.
Took a little off, but missed. Ball and a strike to Omar Infante. He's 1 out of 2 tonight. Right off the thumbs. The ball and 2 strikes. Eddie Bonine was born in Columbus, Georgia. His dad was playing Double-A ball for the Columbus Astros at the time. And the Tigers, fortunately, were at home on Father's Day when his wife, Nikki, delivered their first child, Braden.
Well, congratulations to their whole family. Edwin Jackson still has his no-hitter through 8 against the Tampa Bay Rays for Arizona. He's thrown how many pitches, Al? 134 pitches. He's walked 7. But crafting a little nifty no-no
against his old team in their park. Remember, it was Tampa Bay that was victimized by Dallas Braden with a perfect game this season. Infante flies to left, and Bosch makes the play, 2 down. It's not one of those lineups you look at and say, well, this would be an easy team to no hit.
No, not at all.
We'll keep you posted on that as Melky Cabrera comes to the plate in the bottom of the 7th with 2 out. Melky's 1 out of 2. The Braves have 5 hits. The Tigers 6. The Braves lead it 2-1. 4th inning solo homer by Brian McCann is the difference. It was number 100 in his career. Brooks Conrad has a bat in the on-deck circle. Brooksy. The 3-1. Fly ball shallow left. Easy play for Bosch. 1-2-3 inning for Bonine. We're going to the 8th.
Olsen his bad jokes again on Peachtree TV. And no, it was not me asking that question, John. Well, we get asked that a lot. John's been busy with his commitments to the Major League Baseball Network too, but he will be back with Ernie in Philadelphia on July 5th, 6th, and 7th, right after this homestand when the Braves go back out on the road. And if you want to make a note, he's also back on August 3rd and 4th, and August 13, 14, and 15, and September 9th and 10th. But his next appearance in all his glory, July 5th, 6th, and 7th.
He's been playing a lot of softball.
Yes.
He should be fully stocked with, I don't think bad jokes does it justice. Just horrendous jokes. So you want to be a big league reliever. In a 2-1 game, you're called on here in the 8th inning, Peter Moylan. You're going to face the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Tigers, and they can all flat out rake. Here's Ordonez. Well, there's one down. Prado for the loss.
That's a good start. Peter, like O'Flaherty, did not pitch in Chicago. And remember, Monday was an off day, so he has not pitched since last Sunday. Should be rip raring to go.
Cabrera, 2 out of 3 tonight. And you see 4 out of 8 career against Peter Moylan. Chipper. 2 now.
Like a big smile on Chipper's face there. I'm not sure what Troy Gloss said to him, but Chipper had a little hop in his step when he came in to get that one. He was moving.
So Moylan gets the 2 right-hand hitters. And now you got the left-hand hitting Brennan Bosch, the rookie, coming up. And Bobby says, you've done your job, Peter. And the call to the bullpen is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible.
Duel right here, folks. Lefties against Johnny Venners are hitting 128 on the year. But this young kid, Bosch, is hitting just under 500 against left-handers. How many at-bats, Hal? 42 at-bats. 42 at-bats. He's almost hitting 500, so it's not like he's just got 5 or 10 at bats either.
3 of those are home runs. And it's a 1-run game. Venters, strike 1. The way Jim Leland puts it about this kid, Bosch, there's some electricity to him, he says. Ball and a strike.
The one thing you just don't count on from Venters, he just threw 2 hard sliders, but his fastball gets on you pretty quick, and you're just not prepared for that good sinking action that hard from a lefty.
1-1.
2 good sliders out of 3.
And the bat number with 2 strikes.
Nothing to really show for it. All singles, too.
The 1-2. Mets winners tonight over the Minnesota Twins. Braves must win this game to stay in first place in the NL East. Did he go? Yes, he did. Johnny Venters wins that duel. And the Braves hold on to their 2-1 lead. To preserve that lead for Chris Medlin. Brooks Conrad pinch hitting to lead off the 8th.
Edwin Jackson got the no-hitter tonight.
Unbelievable what we have seen before the All-Star break in Major League Baseball.
He walked 8, struck out 6, and threw 149 pitches. Had to earn it.
And throws a no-hitter against his old team at the Trop.
On that base, kid. Come on.
Only 79 strikes out of the 149.
But you think about it, Edwin Jackson, the ball to Jimenez, with no hitters. Perfect games for Dallas, Braden, and Roy Halladay. And then the guy in the Tiger dugout, Armando Galarraga, who basically had a perfect game, but the whole Jim Joyce situation. And what a year already. And we're in June. Brooks Conrad puts a little charge into one, deep right, and out of here. There's a little 8th-inning insurance off the Atlanta bench.
You cannot stop the Raw Dog.
Hey, baby! Take that ball!
His second pitch hit homer. This is not a slam. This is a solo shot, but boy, it's a nice insurance run. And it came on a hanging breaking ball from Bonine.
So now 3-1. And Prado to right. Ordonez back and makes the play. That ball continued to carry, but Ordonez tracked it down.
Boy, Martin hit this ball hard. And Ordonez robs his fellow Venezuelan of an extra base hit.
Jim Leland making his way to the mound here in the bottom half of the 8th in what is now a 3-1 game. And that'll be all for Eddie Bonine.
And 3 record against the rookie phenom Steven Strasburg as the Washington Nationals come to town. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock right here on Peachtree TV. You get to see how the local lads size up Mr. Strasburg.
And you know Tim Hudson will be up for that challenge too on Monday.
He might take him deep.
They're chopping on a Friday night here at Turner Field. Braves lead 3-1, trying to add to it. Jason Hayward at the plate against the left-hander Brad Thomas.
Thomas giving up a lot of hits, 39 hits in 33 innings.
Second Australian to pitch tonight.
20 walks. Getting news from the truck that, according to MLB.com, we showed you that video today of Carlos Zambrano going off like a 4th of July Roman candle in the Cubs dugout. Well, he's been suspended indefinitely by the GM, Jim Hendry. And the Cubs will play with 24 players tomorrow. Well done, Mr. Hendry.
Jason Hayward waiting on a 3-1. That's a mile high. Brandon Inge calls and makes the play.
If you missed it, here's what happened today at U.S. Cellular Field. When things didn't go Zambrano's way, mostly upset with Derek Lee there in the background over a play that was not made.
Boy, are they struggling in Chicago with the Lou Pinella's bunch. They started the season here. And there was thought after the easiest part of their schedule came shortly after they were in Atlanta. And there was speculation that they're going to be in first place or they're going to be in big trouble. And it's the latter.
Yes. Well, when Lou Piniella, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not quoting, but when he came out earlier this week and said, I've done everything humanly possible to try to get this turned around, that to me sounded like an exit speech. At least if I were an owner or a GM, I would take it as such.
They are 32 and 41 now. And you do wonder. You got Ryan Sandberg managing in the minor leagues for that team. Meantime, Chipper bats with a 3-1 count with 2 outs in the 8th. He's already extended his hitting streak to 9 games tonight with a single in the 6th. Braves got a Melky Cabrera RBI single in the 2nd, a solo homer by McCann in the 4th, and another solo shot by Brooks Conrad. Pinch hitting here in the 8th. So it's 3-1.
And for Cabrera, it was another one of those 2-out RBI hits that they couldn't come up with in Chicago, but got one tonight early on to tie the game. See Jair Jurgen sitting next to him. He worked last night for Gwinnett. 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
Chipper just did stay alive. So on a night when Brian McCann has hit his 100th home run, might we also see Billy Wagner's 400th save?
Boy, wouldn't that be exciting?
The 3-2. In the hole, it's short. And Santiago with no play.
I think Inge deked Santiago there. I think Ramon thought he was going to try to make a play on it, and Santiago himself wasn't ready to make this play. So he was kind of standing straight up almost, thinking Inge was going to get to it.
Yeah, he straightened up. He had to stop and then start.
Yeah.
And Chipper's at first with 2 down.
Chipper will take the base hit.
Troy Gloss looking for his first hit of the night. Oh, nice play by Santiago. And unleashes that gun to first. But the Braves add a run in the 8th. The long ball by Brooks Conrad. We are going to the 9th. Time for Wags. See the defensive changes here in the 9th inning. Blanco is in center. Melky Cabrera has moved to left. Omar Infante has moved from left to third. There's Gregor. Melky in left and Infante at third.
Volleyball side out rotate.
And Billy Wagner. In tight to Carlos Guillen to lead off the 9th.
Talked about the Braves having to face some starters that are all throwing 95 plus over the next 4 days. How about a little gas for you coming out of the Braves bullpen? Jenners was 95, I think. O'Flaherty was 93 or 94 tonight. Billy at 97 already.
399 career saves. Among lefties, only John Franco has more at 424. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And everybody in the home whites on the top step of that Atlanta dugout. The 1-2 to Guillen. There's one of them.
Billy Wagner has a project going on where he called Second Chance Learning Center, seeking to address the increased school dropout rate in Southwest Virginia, but he may be giving second chances there on that. Not at the plate.
Brandon Inge fouls it back. breaking ball over. 0-2. He's a living snapshot of the second chance.
Oh, yeah.
McCann will have to throw down the first. 2 up and 2 down. Reminder to stay tuned after the game for the AT&T game summary. AT&T, rethink possible. 38-year-old Billy Wagner, who's had Tommy John surgery, is an out away from save number 400 in his career.
That out against Austin Jackson is going to pinch hit here for Avila.
Is he dialed in, folks? No balls and a strike. They're all standing here in Atlanta. 0-2. 97.
He hasn't pitched since last Sunday, too. He needed some rest. He had worked in 4 straight games. And he is airing it out tonight.
1 strike from 400 saves. There it is. Man, did he do it in style.
Well, that's a good win, Ernie. After the sweep in Chicago to come home and get right back on track. Braves now 25-7 at home, and a good team win. Bullpen again shining in relief of Medlin, who did a good job.
Everybody did their part. Eric O'Flaherty came on. Peter Moylan comes on. Johnny Venters, all setting the stage for Billy Wagner. And such appreciation on that pitching staff. Medlin gets the win. Wagner gets the save, number 400 in his career.
Braves stay in first place, and team hug.
And a couple of guys who have said this is the last year for both of us,
Yeah.
Billy Wagner and Bobby Cox. That's a great moment. They're loving it here in Atlanta. Braves winners 3-1 in the opener of the Tigers series. We'll see if we can get a word with Billy Wagner, if we can get the headset on him. And it looks like mission just about accomplished as our crew is getting it done down there. Wags is putting the headset on.
All right.
And we are ready to go. Billy Wagner.
Yes.
Ernie Johnson and Joe Simpson upstairs. Congratulations on number 400. What a way to do it, too.
Yeah, it's not how I pictured it, but I'll take it all day long.
You had so many days in a row right there at the end of the last homestand, and you got some probably unwanted rest in Chicago as things turned out. But did the rest do you some good? Did you feel fresh tonight?
Nervous, very nervous, knowing that we had lost 3 games and that we really needed this game. And the part of the lineup that I was facing, is a difficult lineup with Guillen and Inch. Some of those guys can do some damage, so you just had to make some pitches. And, I got some cheap swings that helped me get through the count. So, I'll take this.
What did it feel like as you approached 400? And did that make things any different as you got loose, as you approached that milestone?
You know what? Up to 399, I was pretty relaxed. But tonight, my kids were here, and they were telling me about how it'd be great to get 400 while they were here. And so there was a little pressure. And then, running out, seeing all the old Braves here and stuff like that. And Ossenmacher telling me, he's wishing me luck. It meant a lot to me. And it's just a good way to get it tonight.
Let's go back to your first save. You remember that one back on June 14th of '96? I think you saved it for Mike Hampton.
It was a 3-inning
Yeah.
3-inning stint. Yeah. young and dumb, didn't know what I was doing, just go out there and throw hard and hope for the best. And, I think about the only thing I remember in that save was I got to face Bonds and Matt Williams, so I was really excited. But and it was also freezing cold out there in Candlestick.
Billy, Carol Rogers wrote a really nice piece last week in the AJC about this, your final season, and about your desire to spend more time with the kids. I know they were here to see this, but is there ever a time when you're throwing the ball like this that you say, hey, kids, I think I can do this one more year? Yeah,
well, I got to save some for them. I'll be throwing BP tomorrow morning about 9:30. So, I've had a great run. God's blessed me with so much, but it's time for the family.
Well, you've done a great job, and tonight very special. It's pretty neat, too, the way the fans reacted.
Well, you could tell that they knew something was up. I was just glad I got the opportunity.
I think there's a bag of ice with your name on it, and so we'll let you go and get that done. And, Billy, thank you very much for spending the time. Congratulations.